We're here to unpack the key ideas from different sources, really get to the heart of it so you can be well-informed without, spending hours digging. And this one's tailored for you. Watch this every day and change your life. Denzel Washington Motivational Speech, posted by Alex Kultz Motivation.
Right. A really popular one.
Yeah, exactly. And our goal, our mission here, is basically to pull out the core lessons from that speech. Things about taking risks, how to handle failure.
And crucially, how you can actually use these ideas in your own life. That's the key part.
Absolutely. Because the speech, it's pretty direct, isn't it? About what it takes to achieve things.
Oh, definitely. No sugarcoating. It's less theory, more, well, a practical mindset for dealing with setbacks, which, let's face it, happen.
Okay, so let's dive in. One of the first big things is the idea that you have to take risks. He says flat out, nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks.
Yeah, and he brings up Nelson Mandela, too, right? About playing small.
Right. No passion to be found playing small. That quote, it really makes you think, doesn't it? About times maybe you held back.
It does. And the underlying point, I think, is about growth. Staying safe feels good, but you don't really strict yourself, do you?
True.
Taking a risk, even a small one, it kind of pushes you out there, forces you to learn, adapt.
Yeah.
Maybe find stuff out about yourself you didn't know.
Like planting a seed. That analogy works.
Exactly. There's risk involved, sure. Might not work out. But if you don't plant it, you get nothing. That passion Mandela talks about, it's usually found out there on the edge of your comfort zone.
Okay, so then he gets into that common advice, have something to fall back on.
Yeah, the safety net idea.
But he flips it. He says, if I'm going to fall, I don't want to fall back on anything. I want to fall forward. That fall forward idea feels really central.
It is. It's a total reframe of failure, isn't it? It's not about having a cushion. It's about, seeing the fall itself as movement. Progress, even if it wasn't the plan.
So how do you actually do that, adopt that fall forward thing?
Well, it's mostly perspective, I think. You stop seeing failure as like the end of the road. It's just information, data.
Okay, like what went wrong?
Exactly. What did I learn? What do I change next time? Falling forward means you're resilient, You learn from it. You don't just lie there.
So you analyze it, but not to beat yourself up.
Right. Not about blame. It's about insights you can actually use. Get up, dust off. Okay, that didn't work, but hey, now I know that way is wrong. Use the stumble to push off.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Learn from the setback itself.
Yeah.
He also talks about consistency, needing it to finish anything.
Yeah. Never finish without consistency. And he links it to passion.
Which makes sense, right? If you really care about something, being consistent feels, easier.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Absolutely. Passion is like the fuel, It keeps you going when it gets hard, which it always does at some point.
Right.
And when you hit those bumps, those falls, that passion is why you bother getting back up. And consistency, that builds momentum. Little bits add up over time. You can't get big results with just like random bursts of effort.
Okay. Then there's the 9-dot puzzle analogy, thinking outside the box.
Yeah, the classic.
It's a good reminder that sometimes the limits we feel, we put them there ourselves. How do we get better at seeing past those imaginary lines?
Good question.
Yep.
I think it starts with questioning your assumptions. Like, why do I think this has to be done this way?
I was asking why a lot.
Yeah, basically. And talk to different people, get other views, brainstorm without shooting ideas down right away. Try looking at the problem backwards or sideways. Sometimes the answer is totally weird at first glance.
And that links to challenging the fear of failure itself. He says, don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. Which sounds great.
What?
But then he adds, dreams without goals are just dreams.
Yeah.
So it's not enough to just have the big idea.
Exactly. You need the dream for direction, for the why. But the goals, they're the how, the steps, the map.
So the dream is the destination. Goals are the milestones along the way.
Pretty much. And being willing to fail big, that often comes with setting ambitious goals. If you aim high, the potential fall is bigger. But each failure is just a step. Data collection on the way to the big dream.
He gives some great examples of this, like Reggie Jackson, all those strikeouts.
2,600, a massive number.
But people remember the home runs, right?
Yeah.
It shows that even huge success comes with tons of, what look like failures along the way.
And Edison, too. How many tries for the light bulb?
1,000, apparently.
Yeah.
Or maybe more. To drive home that point, failure isn't the opposite of success. It's often part of the process.
What those stories show is just grit.
Perseverance.
Perseverance, right.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson, Edison, they didn't let the strikeouts or the failed bulbs stop them. He
Yeah.
knew each miss actually got them closer, ruled something out, gave them info. That's falling forward, right there in action. Using the mistake to learn and adjust.
Then he gets really direct. He says basically, you will fail sometime, somewhere.
Yeah, you will lose, you will embarrass yourself, you will suck at something. There's no doubt about it. Pretty blunt.
But honest. It's universal, isn't it?
Totally. And that's why the next bit is so key. Embrace it because it's inevitable.
Accept it.
Yeah. If you accept, it's just part of the deal, part of life. It loses some of its scariness, you know? It stops being this huge, paralyzing thing you have to avoid at all costs.
And becomes just feedback. A learning moment.
Exactly. Helps you bounce back faster, build resilience.
The story he tells about his own life, the Broadway audition, that makes it really concrete.
Oh, yeah, the singing audition. Couldn't sing. Failed.
But the key is what he did next,
Yeah.
right? He didn't quit. He didn't fall back.
Yeah.
He walked out and started preparing for the next audition.
Right. And he mentions praying, but still failing. Again and again.
Yeah, I prayed and I prayed and I prayed, but I continued to fail and fail and fail. It shows that, you know, hope is good, but you still got to do the work.
And then the barbershop analogy. I love that one.
Me too.
Yeah.
You hang around the barber shop long enough, sooner or later you're going to get a haircut.
Duh.
Such a great way to put it. Just keep showing up. Keep trying.
And eventually your turn comes. You catch a break or you get good enough. Persistence pays off. It really sums up that whole section beautifully.
And the payoff for him, returning to that same theater, the court theater, 30 years later.
Offenses, yeah. Incredible.
It's just, wow. Shows you that a rejection, even a painful one, doesn't have to be the end of the story. Not even close.
Exactly. It proves the point, doesn't it? What feels like a disaster now could just be a plot point in your future success story. If you stick with it, learn, grow, keep going.
So then he puts the question right to you, the listener. Do you have the guts to fail?
Oof.
If you don't fail, you're not even trying. That's quite a challenge. Makes you look at yourself, doesn't it? Are you actually pushing or just doing the easy stuff?
It forces that self-reflection. Are you choosing comfort over growth? Are you too scared of looking silly or messing up? His point is, the really good stuff, the big achievements, they usually live in that space where failure is definitely possible.
And the next line sums it perfectly. To get something you never had, you have to do something you never did.
Boom. Simple as that. Keep doing the same old things, you'll get the same old results. Want something new? Gotta try something new. And yeah, that means risk.
He uses some really strong imagery later on, too. The idea of ghosts.
Ah, the ghosts on the deathbed. Yeah, that one sticks with you.
Ghosts representing your unfulfilled potential. Ideas you didn't chase, talents you didn't use because you were afraid.
It's powerful because it taps into that fear of regret, doesn't it? Not the fear of failing, but the fear of never having tried. That's maybe worse.
So it's a motivator. Act now. Risk the failure rather than live with the ghost of what might have been.
Precisely.
Then the speech zooms out a bit, talks about the world's needs, South Africa, poverty, other places.
Right, connecting personal potential to making a difference.
And he speaks directly to young people, saying, you know, the world needs a lot and we need it from you. What are you going to do with your gifts?
And he lists all sorts of gifts, right? Not just money. Time, talent, kindness, patience.
Business skills, nursing skills, the whole range. How does risking failure connect to actually using those gifts for good?
Well, often, making a real difference means trying something new, right? Challenging how things are done, starting something, advocating for change.
And those things are inherently risky.
Exactly. They might not work. You might face opposition. You might fail. But if you don't risk that failure, you probably won't make a huge impact either. Embracing the risk lets you contribute more meaningfully.
He shares another personal story about his time at Fordham University. Winding path, bad grades.
Yeah, the 1.8 GPA. And the university suggesting he take some time off.
He calls that low point a turning point. How can we kind of learn to see our own low points that way? Not as dead ends, but as redirects.
It's about looking for the lesson, isn't it? Even when things feel awful, there's usually something to learn. Maybe you find out what you don't want or what needs to change. Or maybe you discover you're tougher than you thought.
To reflect on it with that growth mindset again.
Yeah. Ask, okay, this sucks, but what can I take from it? Sometimes hitting a wall forces you to find a completely different, maybe even better, path you wouldn't have seen otherwise.
Then there's that amazing moment in his mother's beauty shop. March 27th, 1975. The prophecy.
So vivid, right? This older woman just comes out with it. Young boy, I have a prophecy. You are going to travel the world and speak to millions of people.
Wild. And then he does exactly that through film and now directly. It's extraordinary. What's the takeaway from a story like that? Maybe we don't all that prophecies, but
But maybe it's about staying open to possibilities you can't even imagine right now. Believing in something bigger, perhaps, even when your current reality feels small or stuck.
having a little faith in the process.
Yeah, maybe. Faith in yourself. Faith that things can turn around in unexpected ways. Setbacks aren't always final. Weird, positive things can happen. You just have to stay in the game, like the barbershop thing.
So it all comes back around. The final words are pure encouragement, aren't they? Never be discouraged, never hold back, give everything you got.
Absolutely. And then that final simple instruction.
And when you fall throughout life, remember this, fall forward.
Yeah.
Really is the core message distilled down.
It is. This whole speech, when you unpack it, it's a philosophy for living, really.
Yeah.
Risk is necessary. Failure is just learning. Keep going, keep learning, keep pushing forward. That's it.
Fall forward. So maybe the thing for you, listening right now, is to think, where am I playing it safe? Could be work, a hobby, maybe a relationship. Where is that fear of stumbling holding me back? And what's just one small thing, one tiny step forward you could take, like today? Even if it feels a bit risky, a bit uncertain, how can that fall forward idea maybe give you the nudge you need?
Yeah, just one small step, something to think about.
Definitely.